that the two lecturers and six students regained freedom on Thursday night and had been reunited with their families after spending 31 days in captivity. According to newsmen, it was reported that some gunmen attacked the Polytechnic on June 10 and took away some lecturers and students, causing the incidents to lead to the death of one student while some others sustained injuries. Meanwhile, Shehu declined comment on payment of ransom for the release of the lecturers and students, but told newsmen that their families dialogued with their kidnappers before their release. However, he asked students to be security conscious and avoid moving at night, while assuring students and the general public of improved security in the institution. And President of the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC, Ayuba Waba, has called for stiffer penalties against corruption towards tackling the menace in Nigeria. Waba said this in a dialogue with Labour, Trade and other unions tagged positioning the unions as active drivers of anti-corruption in Nigeria in Abuja. He said Nigeria had remained underdeveloped with poor educational system, weak health institution, and abandoned projects due to corruption, and it was high time Nigeria made the people the center point of every development agenda to address the problem of corrupt and abandoned projects. He said it was high time the NLC collaborated with civil society organizations towards addressing the evils of corrupt practices in Nigeria. He said another claims that the point of development was people-centered approach. You are still listening to the news from around the world on T-Solid Radio. Still to come is the foreign and sport news. Do you remember that you can download our app T-Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can also follow us on our various social media platforms on our T-Solid Radio TV. And on the foreign scene, Haitian police arrested 15 Colombians and 2 Haitian Americans suspected in connection with the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse, officials announced late Thursday. At a news conference accompanied by interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph, Director of Haiti's National Police Leon Charles said at least 28 people participated in the murder of the Haitian president, which included 26 Colombians and 2 Haitian Americans. However, it was added that 8 other people had fled and 3 assassins were killed in the shootings with security forces. Indonesia received desperately needed supplies of oxygen and protective equipment from neighboring Singapore on Friday to support its overwhelmed healthcare system as the country battles its deadliest coronavirus wave yet. The Southeast Asian archipelago is being hit by a major outbreak driven by the highly infectious Delta variant, which has led to authorities imposing new caps nationwide. However, hospitals are struggling to cope with many now refusing new patients, leaving scores to die at home, while desperate relatives hunt for oxygen tanks to treat the sick. Meanwhile, Singapore sent supplies including oxygen cylinders, ventilators, masks, gloves, and gowns on 2 Air Force planes to Jakarta, and another 1,000 ventilators were due to arrive from Australia later today, while Indonesia officials plan to buy more supplies of oxygen and other equipment. The United Nations stands ready to support Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sudan in efforts to resolve the decade-long disagreement over the Great Ethiopian Dam (GERD). The parties have been unable to agree a framework for engagement to settle outstanding issues, which include a dispute resolution mechanism as well as the management of the dam during protracted droughts. However, Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Parfait Onanaga Ayanga, said it in a statement that the United Nations remains available to promote a win-win solution in supporting member states in navigating this complex issue, where genuine political will, compromise, and good neighborliness are essential. Meanwhile, the dispute over the GRERD dates back to April 2011 when Ethiopia began building the dam on the Blue Nile, set to be the largest hydroelectric power project in Africa. And African finance ministers have urged rich countries to reallocate at least $30 billion from the International Monetary Fund money towards investment in Africa. The ministers of finance from Ghana, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, and Nigeria said this in an open letter to the leaders of the group of 20 leading economies that this would help African countries battling the effect of coronavirus and climate change. They also urged the rich nations to increase support for poorer countries' COVID vaccination drive. However, the IMF has taken steps to implement a new 650 billion, dollar allocation, the largest ever of its reserve currency, so-called special drawing rights, and the process is expected to be completed in August. And moving on to the sports news. England players will donate their prize money to the National Health Service if they win the Euro 2020 title on Sunday, according to Newsman. The report today said the team would receive around £9.6 million, $13.2 million for a victory against Italy in the decider. Meanwhile, England players started donating match fees to the NHS last year amid the coronavirus pandemic. However, the report said the issue was not finalized as some details, such as tax implication, must still be solved. And finally, on the news from around the world, Nigerian long jumper Ese Brume and Burkinabe triple jumper Fabrice Huggies Zango says they will be unaffected by the lack of fans at the Olympics as they have long been preparing for such an eventuality. On Thursday, organizers announced the Olympics will be held without spectators at venues in and around the capital, Tokyo, after a spike in coronavirus infection. Meanwhile, jumpers are used to having a crowd rhythmic clapping to help them. Brume explained that she has changed the training to deal with the lack of public support, while Zanko admitted that he will miss having a crowd to celebrate with should he win the first Olympic medal in Burkina Faso's history. With that, we've come to the end of the news. A recap of the major headlines. Abducted lecturer student of Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic regain freedom. And on the foreign scene, I read 15 Colombians, 2 Haitian Americans arrested over assassination of Haitian presidents. United Nations ready to promote win-win solution for Blue Nile Dam project. And on the ever-exciting water sport, you heard England's players to donate Euro 2020 title fee to health workers. And ensure to go by all precautionary measures to stay safe from COVID-19 as recommended by the World Health Organization and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Do remember to download our app T-Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our various social media platforms on our T-Solid Radio TV. The news was compiled by Omolafe Mary Olorunishola. I am Joy Akin Olamigoke. Good afternoon and many thanks for listening.